I'd like to do a quick video about interpreting regression coefficients. How do you interpret the coefficient that you've estimated, especially the slope coefficient? In economics, we aren't so interested in the intercept coefficients that we estimate. So we can imagine a variety of regressions, and here's one: the death rate in a locality. And this might be measured as how many people who die per 100,000. And we might imagine that that is a function in our COVID-19 pandemic times of an index of the mask mandate, which might vary from 0 to 100, with 100 being very restrictive mask mandates and 0 being a place, a county, a locality that had no mask mandates. Now, our coefficient that we estimate, we can see is 0.5. So how do we interpret this 0.5? Well, for every 1 unit increase in the mask mandate index, unit increase in mask mandate index, the death rate goes down by 0.5. So that's how we would interpret it. The death rate might be 15 for a mask mandate of, well, you could calculate what does the mask mandate have to be for the death rate to be 15, and it would have to be, well, if our mask mandate goes up to 100, the smallest death rate we could have is 20 here, right? So if the mask mandate is 100, the predicted death rate would be equal to 70 minus 0.5 times 100 would be equal to 20. 70 minus 25. 70 minus 50 is 20. Right? But for every unit increase in our mask mandate, the death rate goes down by 0.5. So that's that coefficient. Let's look at another coefficient. Suppose we had a regression equation where we had, say we were talking about countries, and we had their interest rates by their central bank, say, and interest rates usually expressed as a percent, 3%, 10%, 8%. And so that could be those would just be numbers, 3, 10, and 8 in our data set. And we have the interest rate as the outcome variable, and we run a regression where our explanatory variable is last year's GDP growth rate. So in the US, GDP growth rate might be 3%, might be 2%, could be negative 1.8%. So again, in our regression, our data set, that would just be 1.8, 2, or 3, and we know that the units are in percentage points. So we run the regression, and we find that our beta 1 hat is equal to 1.3. So how do we interpret that? For each, we say, for each 1 percentage point, because when this goes from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, that's an increase of 1 percentage point. So for each 1 percentage point increase in GDP growth, what happens to interest rates? They go up. So interest rates go up by 1.3 percentage points, because the interest rate's also measured as percentage points. So you have to know what the unit is to be able to interpret the regression. So in this case, both of our units are in